This is Cityscapes right here on Jazz City Radio, where every city is a jazz city. And we have a very special, we're not going to say, we're in his house now. We got a very special guest this afternoon. We have the one, the only, owner, creator of the Indianapolis best jazz restaurant, jazz venue in town, the Jazz Kitchen, Mr. Dave Ali. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. You have a storied history here. This is the Jazz Kitchen has been fully operational for the last almost 23 years, right?
Yeah, 23 years here. April 1st. 23
April
years.
Fool's Day. April the 1st.
No joking.
Yeah. Kid, longtime musician here in Indianapolis. I was, always in the place to start. So, what made you? What drove you? What made you? What inspired you to start the Jazz Kitchen? We would talk a little bit.
We were talking about a little bit. Yeah. I don't know if there was any secret formula. I would say played in a jazz band throughout high school. My dad's a professional jazz musician, great jazz pianist that plays here regularly. Steve Ali. I guess me and a friend of mine, we drove by the place. We were familiar with the place to start from before. That Pete Pipkin and Pat Holland did a great job of running that for years and years. And we thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to revitalize the jazz scene in Indianapolis. Obviously, the Chatterbox was doing great things, Matt Walker, but we felt like there was more that could be done in a different type of venue, and so. We came into it very naively, and it's evolved quite a bit through the years.
Exactly.
And we've just kind of taken the cues from what the community has kind of wanted to see, and musically, and also culinarily and whatnot as well.
So over those 23 years, we have seen so much growth. Can you kind of give us a little history behind since you started 23 years ago?
Well, yeah, I would say in the very beginning we were primarily, local bands. We've actually always been very blessed because we have a fantastic local jazz scene.
Right.
Not every community is blessed with that same amount of talent that we have here. So we did, I'd say probably the first maybe close to 10 years we were, primarily local.
Mm-hmm.
We would pepper in some national acts here and there. I think of J.J. Johnson, Maynard Ferguson, and Arturo Sandoval, some of the first ones that we had.
Right.
Were kind of our delve into the national acts. But certainly as time has gone on, there's been lots of changes. The menu's changed a lot. The music's changed a lot. Even the styles of music in the jazz idiom have changed quite a bit. We have so many different idioms or styles under the jazz umbrella that it's actually kind of makes our job a little easier because we can kind of pick and choose a little bit more. We can mix the audiences up a little bit more. We just, the evolution of jazz, just like the music itself, I feel like the club is a reflection of the music, and it certainly continues to evolve. If we have this conversation 10 years from now, I'd imagine that we'll be in a different space. We'll just have not physically maybe, but just a different space as far as how we go, different feel. We always got to keep moving forward. So.
Right. For those who are listening around the world, this is I guess you would say a go-to place. It's a place, one of the places you got to go while you're here on your itinerary. So let's talk about the diversity of your menu, because this is a place, very nice place to come for a really good dinner. So tell us about your menu and how it came about, how it's evolved over the years.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, MSN just voted us most romantic restaurant in Indiana.
Congratulations.
Which is a little surprise. As a big guy like me, I don't consider us necessarily the most romantic, but hey, we'll take it. If that's what they're thinking, we won't argue with them. But it is a great place to come on a date. I always like to say that if your date's not working out, you can always listen to the music, which is a fantastic thing. You know, I mean, we like to think we're providing a service here that gets you through an awkward date if necessary. But
kind of like the commercial where the guy and the lady, they come in for a date. They've already made plans in case the date where it doesn't work out.
That's right. That's
okay.
Right. Yeah, they've already got but you can always watch the band and certainly check that out. But as far as the ambiance here and what we strive to offer, it's a comfortable place to come. We like to think that we put out a really good meal. We've worked really hard to, fashion a menu that has, fresh ingredients, things that are homemade here in house. Mm-hmm. It's important to us, to maintain a quality of, we bring in fresh seafood 3 or 4 times a week to make sure that, things are fresh. And, it's just funner that way. You're putting out a good quality product, people are appreciating it. And then along the diversity of the menu, it's really part necessity and part of kind of who we are. Right. We're an eclectic place. We have things like, paella, but we also have a hamburger. We've got a steak, but we also have a salmon, and then we've got things that are, we've got a home frites, French fries. So, there's things that kind of, each given night is a little different audience-wise, and so the menu kind of reflects that. We try to kind of duck and dive around, so we can offer a little something to everybody.
And also, for everybody, does he have a bar? Yeah, he's got a very well-stocked bar.
We stock the bar.
Great wines.
Yeah.
Great wine. Great collection of wines, selection of wines.
Cocktails.
You have great top shelf bartenders here.
Yep.
I can talk. I can speak because I've been here many times,
sure.
And I always
enjoy tell all your secrets here.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got this. We got to tell. We were talking about the history earlier. Can you think of maybe 3 of the most memorable concerts that you've had here, maybe in the last 23 years?
Well, the one that always sticks out is J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson, legendary trombonist that kind of redefined jazz trombone along the same time as Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie were kind of redefining the music, on alto sax and trumpet. So, JJ was from Indianapolis and he had moved away for a number of years, but he had come back and he was looking for a place to do a show, and I think he looked at some of the bigger venues around town, but he came in here and he saw Frank Glover and Claude Sifferman. Great piano saxophone duo that was on stage, and he really enjoyed it, and he thought, this is where I should be. And so it was nice for us because it was kind of a seal of approval from this legend to be able to say, here's where I want to do, my homecoming concert in Indianapolis. So we did 3 nights here, packed houses, all 3 nights. And it kind of got us going to maybe boost our confidence a little bit to be able to, one, bring in national acts and be able to pay the bills for it, but then just from a presenting standpoint, he really enjoyed it. We stayed in touch throughout it, until he passed away. I always think of Terrence Blanchard, I'm a trumpet player, so he always did a killer job here. Maynard Ferguson always did a killer job here. One of our more profile gigs would probably be Harry Connick Jr. did a couple nights here. People ask me about that all the time. They're like, when are you going to bring him back? And I go, well, it might have been just a wrinkle in time that allowed him to come into a smaller venue like this. But we've been very fortunate to bring in just fantastic music, and we would actually just about a week ago we presented Gary Burton's the famed vibraphonist. It was his very last concert, and he's retiring. And I thought, man, what an honor that is for us to be able to present this legend, maybe 60 miles away from his hometown in Anderson.
Right.
And but he could have chosen a lot of different places, and we were very fortunate to have him choose here to do it.
Well, would you attribute that to? And I'm gonna make you brag on yourself. I'm gonna say that you attribute that to your reputation, the intimacy of the venue, the ability to provide the kind of atmosphere that someone of that caliber would want to make for his last concert.
I think we tried really hard to make sure that the artist that is the focus. That first and foremost, stage is it's a place where, you know, people come to see. You know, there's a lot of things that can go on but the stage is the most important. So I think the artists that come in truly enjoy the fact that, you know, they're well taken care of, and you know, that we do a good job presenting the music in an environment where people are wanting to listen to music. So I do think that part of it is that. I think part of it too is just through the years we've collected an audience that is well informed, that's knowledgeable of the music, that takes the time to do a little homework and respects what's on stage. And so, you know, there's a mutual admiration between the stage and the audience. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's what you're here for at the Jazz Kitchen, is that bond between what's happening on stage and what you are as a listener. That's the experience that, you know, we hope that the drinks and the food and everything like that complement that. But certainly that's the main thrust, is that interaction between the stage and the audience.
Okay. This 5377 North College Avenue in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're going to talk about website, and we're going to talk about how to get in touch with as far as tickets and so forth. But we're going to take a little break, Dave, and we'll be right back. This is Steve Scrapper Brown for Cityscapes on Jazz City Radio. Wherever city's a Jazz City, Jazz City Radio, bringing the world just a little bit closer, one song at a time. Okay, once again, we're back. This is Cityscapes. I'm Steve Scrapper Brown, your host for Cityscapes on Jazz City Radio. And I'm sitting here having a great conversation with Dave Ali, owner, operator, visionary behind, I'm gonna call you visionary, yes. I would call him visionary behind the Jazz Kitchen here in Indianapolis. And that's 5377 North College Avenue. They've got a great calendar. We'll talk about the calendar coming up here in a little while. But how do you get in touch with the Jazz Kitchen? How do you find out about who's coming to the Jazz Kitchen? We need that information.
Well, probably the best way is to check out the website. You got to get the THE in there. THEJazzKitchen.com.
Okay.
Yeah, we have our whole menu. We also have a full calendar on there as well. And you know, the show times do vary depending on what night of the week it is, what the type of artist it is. And prices obviously vary as well. So you got all that information there, plus a way to buy tickets securely. And you know, I just can't stress enough that the website's the place to go. You're welcome to call here, 317-253-4900, but you'll probably actually get more information sometimes.
You let the machine do this.
You know, I hate to be so impersonal, but that's the world we're in right now.
So, let's go back to the history of the Jazz Kitchen. Can you pick out some memorable moments? Maybe like a reunion of sorts. Maybe you have top artists maybe doing a concert here, and maybe one of his cohorts comes in and you weren't expecting, and it's like a reunion.
Yeah. You know, probably the one that first sticks out is we did a night here. It was a double bill with my dad's quintet probably, and then the Yellow Jackets were the second part of the bill, and then Foreplay walked in on the thing. So it was a nice, I don't know, Mike might have even been here on that night, but you know, it's what we thrive to be as a club. It had obviously fantastic music, but the elevation of the social element, because, you know, fans of Foreplay are sitting there being able to shake their hand, you know, while the Yellow Jackets are playing on stage. So, you know, there was a lot of great energy in the room at that point. So that would be one of the big ones. You know, there's been a ton of memorable nights where, you know, I remember Tony Monaco, a great B3 organ player, was playing. Joey DeFrancesco was in the audience and elevating his game that whole time. You know, so there's a lot of times where, you know, they've been pushed to the next level. But where I really, what really gets me excited is nights like I was just talking about, when the fans can interact with what's going on. And there was an electricity in the room, and you know, it had to do with obviously the notes on stage, but also off stage. And so, you know, that's kind of what I feel like, you know, a club like this provides, as a social element that's, you know, that provides you with the experience that you're not going to forget. You know, you go home, hey, remember that time we were down at the club, and you know, the Yellow Jackets were playing, and the Foreplay walked in the door, and you know, you remember that for, you know, decades, and you know, that's what it's all about.
pick your brain. Let's try to think of one more. I'm gonna pick your brain. One more, because what I like to do is I'm trying to bring out just what kind of magical moments you could have here at the Jazz Kitchen.
Well, another one would probably be probably our 20th anniversary party. We did a weekend we tried to get as many of the local artists in as we could. Mm-hmm. And what's important about that is that, really the foundation of the club here is our local artists that we have here. They've been, extremely supportive, like we talked about before, extremely talented. I think about everybody from, Rob Dixon to Bill Langton. I'm going to start naming names. That's a problem, but Brenda Williams. You just had, like, I would say over the course of the weekend we had probably 50 of the best artists from here in Indianapolis. And what was interesting about it is that there was, again, that interaction. Not everybody was on stage at one time, so everybody was kind of hanging and having a great time. And that bubbled over to the audience, where they were able to interact as well. So I'd say those interactions between the audience and what's happening on stage is probably, probably some of the most memorable stuff that I can think of.
Something just popped in my head, and I usually riff off of that. We have a lot of her fans listening all the time here and around the country and possibly around the world. Tell us some of your memories about Cynthia Lane.
Oh man, Cynthia. Well, unfortunately, she passed away too soon. Great friend. I remember her when bassist Barry Kettering brought her in to play for the first time, kind of helped her. I forget who she was playing with before, but he was kind of trying to help her get into the jazz side of things. Obviously, I think she kind of came more from an R&B soul. Obviously, neo soul is something that sticks out when I think of Cynthia. But I saw her evolution. I mean, a fantastic talent. There was no question that was there. It was just a matter of learning the language of jazz. And I think there's still a void. There was a concert that they did. There was a tribute to Cynthia Lane here. Rob Dixon put it together with Reggie Bishop and Kenny Phelps, who were her main group through the years. Right. And I just thought to myself, man, how lucky we were to have her around, and how talented she really was, as far as being able to delve in and out of different styles. It was pretty amazing, and no disrespect to any of the artists that were on, some of the vocalists that were on stage, but it just kind of showed, it just kind of spotlighted how important that she was musically to the scene here, and obviously like I said, her life was cut short, but her trajectory was upward. I mean, I started to see her, she was getting great airplay in London. She went traveling to Las Vegas several times. She was starting to get more of a Midwest regional draw, where she was starting to tour more. So, there's a lot of happiness and fondness that we remember Cynthia with, and then there's obviously some a little sadness that she wasn't able to obviously still be with us, and certainly her music continue as well.
Let's shift gears. Let's shift gears to one of my favorite subjects. Ooh!
All right.
I have my favorites here. I'm sure you have your favorites, but we were talking about earlier about the history of the Jazz Kitchen, and you can truly say that. I mean, you have a very diverse menu. You want to kind of give everybody a little overview? I mean, you can talk all about your menu. Just go for it.
Well, we like to eat. I'm a good eater, so I would say it is born a little bit of the different audiences that come in here. We do feel like we have a very diverse audience, and therefore the menu is diverse as well. Mm-hmm. Things that are kind of our best sellers, if you will, are Not So Cajun Chicken. Don Horstman, one of our earliest chefs, brought that in. I'm sure he took it from someplace else, but we've been glad to borrow it through the years, and it's our best seller. We've got a great chicken and shrimp etouffee on the menu. The crab cakes, Again, another recipe that some guys down the street at a great steakhouse kind of started us with. I won't tell their story, but you know, we tweaked them and made them kind of our own. But certainly, we've had some great help through the years, and you know, the paella is kind of a collection. We do a Latin dance party here every Thursday, and so the DJ on that, along with my wife's family, which is from Panama, paella is a big staple throughout some of those countries, and so paella is on our menu, and we've kind of tweaked it. It's kind of a middle, you know, we use andouille sausage instead of a pork or, you know, another pork product, you know, to kind of, you know, kind of give it our own little twist, tie it in with the New Orleans, you know, jazz theme, if you will. But we also have great burgers. We have a Kincaid's Butcher Shop that we get all our meat fresh from.
Hey, Kincaid, you just got a big club there.
Yeah, Kincaid's, yeah. Well, we do because, you know, we go in there and they give us the best stuff, and they, you know, we've been using them now for close to 10 years, and it's really something that, again, we feel proud that we can put out a quality product. But like burgers, we do, you know, filet mignon. We've got a flat iron steak.
That's my favorite.
The flat iron. The flat iron's fantastic. I think a lot of people are that's not a real popular, or not as popular. It's getting more popular. But actually, you know, it's a very tender cut, and you know. But I think, you know, one thing that we've kind of tried to do more recently is we're, you know, trying to also lean on some of the specials. We have a great black and red fish right now. That's fantastic. It's there's also a shrimp and crawfish pasta that's doing really well.
That's the second favorite.
Yeah. so you know, we're just always trying to evolve. We got great salads, soup. Great appetizers, like I said, the crab cakes, the taquitos, you know, just different things in there, fried shrimp, grilled shrimp, things like that. I think, you know, if you're looking for a place where you can come, we've got a meal that's casual, we've got a meal that's fancy and more, you know, upscale, if you will. And then we have something that's more foodie. We don't consider ourselves a foodie restaurant, but we certainly have elements of foodie in there, but we also have other elements too. So.
Well, we'll take another break.
All right.
Get a chance to dry out a little bit, and maybe have a cold drink of water, maybe something like that. Don't forget, the Jazz Kitchen, 5377 North College Avenue, here in Indianapolis, Indiana. No, all around the city, all around the country, all around the world. This is Cityscapes. I'm Steve Scrapper Brown. Come on back now. Okay, we are back here at the Jazz Kitchen, 5377 North College Avenue, with Dave Ali, visionary, owner, operator, hey, what else can I say? In the background, a gentleman that is coming here Sunday, April the 2nd for 2 shows?
Just one show.
Just one show? One show. And the time?
7 o'clock.
Okay. How do we get tickets?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, thejazzkitchen.com is by far the easiest place to grab tickets, and Coco's getting actually pretty close to sell out, so, you know, if there are people that want to do that, that would be probably wise to get them sooner than later. And since we're just doing the one show, it tightens it up a little bit. And usually Sundays, that's kind of what we try to do. We do 2 shows sometimes, but it just has worked out good for this.
Okay, while we're on that subject, can you talk about some of the people that are coming to the Jazz Kitchen here in the next couple of months or so?
Right. Well, there's some notable ones that we're kind of excited about. One is David Sanborn, the 12th and 13th of May. Been trying to get him in for years, and as you can imagine, you know, David usually plays larger venues. So if you're ever going to see David in an intimate venue, this would probably be your opportunity. I know certainly he likes to make more money than he can make here, so, you know. But, you know, I think we're lucky, and it just worked out timing-wise. He was coming through, fill a couple dates, and you know, it's interesting about David. He's a Hank Crawford fan, you know, kind of coming out of him, and so, you know, there's a lot of, you know, these guys, they really enjoy coming back and doing the clubs. You know, the interaction with the audience is fantastic.